Let me do the intro.
It's already done. I don't know if we're going live right now or what. All right, guys, I think we are live. Let's go check our YouTube, make sure that we are live. Give me 1 second, guys. Yep. Let's do this. We're gonna throw the link out here. We're gonna let some people come in. All right, let's get some guys coming in here in just a sec. Get some guys coming in here in just a sec. Well, let's get to it. We'll start talking.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we jumped into the field this evening to poll Virginia. We polled it in. We started getting some. We're getting some reverb here. We polled, as you know, we polled Virginia back in October 19th, October 20th, and we had somewhat of a close race. We had it Spansberger plus 5.4. Then we've seen a lot of polling beyond that, and afterwards it showed it growing quite a bit, more so than what we had. We're talking 10, 11, 12-point polls. We didn't quite know what to make of that, so we jumped back in to see what we had. Probably had a feeling that the race had probably swung away from Winsome Sears. That's exactly what happened. As you know, we posted just recently on Twitter, and we will share here what our findings were. Give me 1 second here. Let's go. Or not. Jeez Louise, man. We're having some difficulties here. Anyway, let's pull up here. We had Spansberger up around 50. Go to your the latest poll we had. Go Qantas right there. Yeah, so we had about 52.6 to 43.9. Our models are showing roughly around 8%, 8.5% or something like that. 8.3% is what our models we ran this morning. And lo and behold, this poll falls around 8.6. It's definitely a big improvement from the last poll we had of her going plus about 5.4. So now we're up. She's gained roughly 3 points, and Sears is roughly sticking around 44%. So it's not looking good for Sears. This is going to be a complete walkover tomorrow night in Virginia. I wouldn't be surprised if Spansberger pops 10% or a plus 10-point margin in Virginia. But I think the other race everybody's really, really wanting to know about is the Attorney General race with Mayars and Jones. We had the big hoopla about the text surveys, the text messages that got out. That was less than flattering on Jones's part, but it seems to have little to no effect among the electorate. The only thing that we can see here on the bright side is there's about 5% undecideds in this race. However, the poll we launched back in October 19 to the 20th, we had Jason Mayars around 49%, to Jay Jones 42%. Since that poll was conducted, we now have it pretty much tied at 47%. So the electorate has swung back towards Jones's favor. The undecideds has dropped down to less than 5%, so call it around 5%. But it looks like Jones is probably going to skate by and win a very close race in the Attorney General. Now, it could be, it could be Jason Myers winning this race. He may hold on to somewhat of a small lead, but it's really not looking like that. It looks like this is going to probably be a sweep in Virginia. Now, what does that mean regarding the text messages, and some of the things that were said regarding the death of another assemblyman, another politician, probably someone he probably knows and at least interacted with, much like a coworker in our world. He wished death upon him and then his kids and all of that. But what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. I think it actually fired up the base there in Northern Virginia, apparently. In a perfect world, somebody like that would be forced to, just completely remove himself from the race. He should probably retire in shame. But it doesn't look like that. It looks like he's going to get elevated. He's going to fall. He's going to fall forward, fall upward, and he's going to probably be the next Attorney General out of the state of Virginia, unless this poll is wrong and others like it. If we look at some of the recent polling, I'm going to let Mike chime in here in just a sec. If we look at the Attorney General race, so counting our recent poll, we had it tied at 47-47. Let's see what we got here. And Trafalgar just dropped a Jones +2. Looks like, Insider Advantage dropped a Jones +2. Trafalgar has it tied. Emerson has it +2. Atlas Intel has it +1. So we're right in the middle, about 47 to 47. So, I mean, there's no surprises here. We didn't know what to expect when we jumped back in the field and threw a quick poll together. We used Numenar as our partner to do that. We pulled straight from the voter file for Virginia, pulling very active voters. We know who's going to vote, how often they vote in the general election. So this poll functions like a likely voter poll. We have some pretty good scores on who's going to vote. Who's hitting this up? How do you have undecided? How do you have 5% undecideds with less than 25? That's a great question. Don't know. If you can, we didn't force them. We didn't force the undecideds. We didn't want to. We pulled straight here from high frequency voters, and that's the way it fell. We could have probably forced some undecideds. It was a snap poll. We just wanted to see what it was like. But it's really not that surprising that you'd have a handful of undecided voters and maybe something like the Attorney General. They just don't want to respond. It's just response bias. They're going to maybe not admit who they're going to vote for. And then when you start forcing undecideds, it's a crapshoot. It's going to break 50-50 one way or the other. I think some polls that force them probably help those undecideds with some propensity scoring and to get those top lines almost to the exact, but it doesn't surprise me. There's some undecided, especially in your lower profile races, such as a lieutenant governor and attorney general. Who knows? But the governor's race, I think it was like 2.5, 2.6% undecided. That's still a little high. We didn't bother to force them. It doesn't matter. They'll break the way they break. They could be less propensity or lower propensity voters, even though they passed our high frequency high frequency voter screen, or their behavioral behavior in the past, say 2 or 3 general election cycles. For whatever reason, they said they're undecided. So we don't know. But we feel pretty strongly this is about an 8.5 to a 9-point margin of victory for Abigail Spanberger. And I'll pause there and let Mike jump in. Any other comments that I might have left out here?
Yeah, no, Mike Casey here. I'm analyst that works with Jason here. We just to give us a little background. We used to be together prior to 2024. Came back on board recently. Happy to be back with Quantus Insights. So a lot of the fact with the latest poll, we found that there was some radical change that were really happening fast, and it seemed like the Jones case was kind of falling to the wayside. A lot of people were no longer paying attention to it. There's an old saying about timing in politics, and it seems that bomb went off at the wrong time, if you will, a little early. Jones kind of might have skirted past that, and the uh, the feeling that was attached to that particular scenario, especially in Virginia, seems to kind of wane because at that point in time, in our last poll, we had what 5.4, I think it was.
Yeah, 5.4.
5.4. It was a very tight race. I mean, Steers was actually at some point could have pushed. It seemed like probably not have won, but closed the gap. Everything's kind of waned off, and there's a decay factor, if you will, that is attached to these types of situations. And now we're in a completely different environment. And that's one of the reasons why I like to reiterate what Jay was saying. We kind of started talking about this, and it seemed like a really good thing to do to get a recalibration on our original numbers, because this stuff it's changed so rapidly over the past couple of weeks. It's been insane. And I think a lot of people have been seeing that. If you look at the numbers on RCP, you can see a definitive shift from the last time where we were running, you could see +6, +9. Now we've got right-wing pollsters posting out +10s, +11s. And I mean, you can come back and say, oh, well, they're trying to cover their asses. Excuse my French, but that's not necessarily the case. I mean, a lot of people are understanding that the dynamics of this race have completely changed. And you see a real big tightening. And I really appreciate that question about the undecideds, because once you start getting down ballot, I think people tend to lose interest. I don't understand why. Personally, me, if I'm going in, I'm voting for governor. I look at LT governor, I look at attorney general, but I'm a political junkie. So I can't apply my logic to the average person. They might be hitting the ballot for whatever. We had some pretty good, usually when we run these polls, we'll have.
Go ahead. We're gonna.
Oh, sorry.
We got some questions here.
Usually when we run these polls, we'll have like a really big change in the question numbers on the end side of things, but this one's pretty tight. So I'm gonna be quiet. We're gonna feel.
No, that's it. So when we launched this, so real quick, we use Numenar as our text survey. So we blast out thousands of text surveys, right? Pulling straight from the voter file from those who are at public information of those who have voted in the last, say, 4 general election cycles. So that's how we're able to turn this quickly around. We use Numenar to do that. So we can blast out quick surveys, snap polls, if you want to call it. So we don't have to use online panels or follow up with some live calling, which we do. We didn't do this. We just launched straight from text, went straight to the guys who we know are going to vote. So Paul Mike, is Winsome acting as a drag on the Attorney General's race for GOP? Maybe, probably, but not a lot. I don't think so. I think it is what it is. This is a post-Trump victory in 2024. Depending on which polls you have, you see Trump probably around 45% approval, maybe a little below that, perhaps a little high, a little below or a little above that. We haven't done an approval poll since early October, and we had it at 47% approval to like 51 or 52% disapproval, something like that. So I don't know. We haven't run an approval polling. As you know, we've been really active this month of October, dropping polls. Is it a drag? Maybe. She's not the most dynamic candidate. If there was a more dynamic candidate, maybe it would probably lift it up. So it's probably not helping the ticket down ballot. She's probably not helping herself either. So sure, but I wouldn't blame it all on Sears. You had a gift given to the Republicans with Jay Jones's text controversies, and it had no effect on the Democrat base. I think it fired them up. People can point fingers and say how ugly and partisan I'm being. I'm kind of over that at this point. It is what it is. When somebody can say stuff like that in a public manner and still be able to stay in the race and still even potentially win, which you probably will, I think that's a problem. I think it's a problem for everyone. I think it's a problem for politics. I think it's a problem for society. But here we are. The man's probably going to win. He's going to beat an incumbent. And I don't know what the actual mix is in terms of the negatives and positives. It just is what it is. It looks like the Democrats are going to sweep Virginia. And if they sweep Virginia, they're probably going to pick up 4 to 6, maybe 8 House delegate seats as well. So it's going to be a great night for Democrats in the Old Dominion. Looks like I had another question. So does this mean that some of Maillard's vote switched to Jones since he was? No, probably not. It just means there was a whole lot of undecideds in that first poll. I think we had it 49-42.
Yeah.
And it just looks like some independents that probably sit on their votes, and the race has done what it's done, and the news cycle has faded, and they've made their decision, and that decision is they don't really care one way or the other. The only caveat to that I would have is there's going to be a response bias, and we've seen it. It's a non-ignorable type of non-response bias, since there is a lot of undecideds that don't want to answer our polling question, but are probably going to vote. That's probably the only way that Mayorkas could win, or Mayorkas. He could probably win is if some of these undecideds and independents kind of move his way a little bit towards the end and push him over the finish line with a very, very close race. That's not to say if the Republicans didn't have more of a dynamic candidate leading the top of the ticket, that perhaps they still would have lost. There was nothing was going to happen to save that seat from flipping to the Democrats in an off-year election post-Republican victory in the White House. But what you're trying to do is stop the bleeding, right? You don't want to bleed out. Well, I think the Republicans are going to bleed out in Virginia, and they probably should do a lot of soul searching on how they're going to function from here on out. You don't want to lose this bad just because there's a Republican in the White House. This isn't much of a competition. When you're losing by 8 to 10 points, which is probably where it's going to fall, you're not even putting up much of a fight. You still want the races to be 2, 3, 4 points, 5 points, but you don't want it at 8 and 10 points. It's a walkover. So that's that as far as that goes. Are there any state Senate seats on the ballot? Are there no state Senate? Oh, I don't know. We didn't get into all that. We threw a snap poll out just for the top 3 races. We didn't get into the dynamics and the nuances of the state elections in Virginia. I can just assure you, though, regardless of what you're tracking, maybe you're tracking some of these House districts. I think there's 4 or 5 that are pretty good bellwethers. You can expect the Democrats, to win all of those bellwethers in Virginia. And if you're tracking a specific Senate seat and it's an iffy seat, you can expect the Democrat to win in that Senate seat. It's going to be a complete walkover in the state of Virginia. If the governor wins by 10 points, 8.5, I think is what we had at 8.6.
8.6.
Even our models, our model fell at 8.3 points. That's going to be enough to, the rising tide, so to speak, lifts all boats, and it's going to drown the Republicans. They're going to be without a boat and in the tsunami here. I'm not trying to doom and gloom here. It is what it is. It's not going to go well. It's not going to go well for Republicans in the state of Virginia.
Now, one of the other things is we're going to start hearing a lot about this coming up real soon. Harry Anton was talking about it today, about the historical nature of the Virginia and Jersey governor races for predictability for the general congressional ballot in 2026. So if you look at a +10 in Virginia, let's just estimate and say, +3 to 6 in New Jersey.
I got you, America First Inside. I'm going to comment on that in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to probably be hearing a lot of stuff in the news cycle coming up about predictions using this cycle to predict what's going to happen in the general congressional ballot. Based on studies that we've done in the past, it does have a little bit of predictive nature to it. I think it's getting a little overblown, and I'm not just trying to say that to make you feel better, but it does have certain predictive nature to it that is the ability to predict what's going to happen potentially in 2026.
We're probably looking at a 2 to 4 point generic congressional ballot lead, maybe for the Democrats at this point. I know there's some polls back and forth. We did our last generic congressional ballot at the end of October, at the beginning of October.
Yeah.
And we had Republicans up 1, and that was the first lead the Republicans have shown since March. And then lo and behold, there was other polls that had flipped. So if they didn't show the Republicans up, they'd show like a 4 or 5 point swing from these +4 and 5 point results, previously. And then now we got the shutdown that's really digging in. It doesn't look good for either party. But the man in charge is going to be blamed. That's just the way it goes. When things don't work out, the boss is the one who takes the blame. And I think the Republicans will probably suffer a little bit from this, from the shutdown. But not, I don't think it's anything that can be overcome. but it's a drag for all of them. But having said all that, it looks like the Republicans have actually kind of rebounded in the generic congressional ballot. So America First Insight updated their models. He showed me. He's got it at 8.5. So this morning we updated ours before our poll. We didn't know we were going to go on the field today. By the way, we thought about doing it over the weekend, but we're tired. You can probably tell by the look at it. We've aged. I mean, we're only 25 years old.
I know it's been rough. It's been rough.
So, yeah. Anyway, we jumped in the field. We talked internally with some other team members, and we kept seeing these polls that are just popping at 10 and 12. That would have been so far off from our 5.4 poll that we're like, we almost had to do it. It would have been irresponsible if we didn't do it. I think the poll that we launched on October 19th and 20th was good. It was plus 5.4 for Spanberger. I think the aggregate at the time was 6 or 6.2. But things just swung wildly since then, and we just didn't want to be behind the curve on that. So we went ahead and jumped in the field, not to save ourselves and save our ratings. It had nothing to do with that. This is what we do for a living. So we feel like it was our responsibility to get out there and do it. I bet, though, America First, if we were to rerun our models with this poll, and I think Trafalgar maybe and Insider Advantage, we'd probably get around 8. It'd probably move from 8.3 to 8.6 as well. So it sounds like our models are very similar to yours. We use some adjustments based on the work you've done. We use the work you've done on grading these pollsters on their past performance, getting their directional bias. We do a little bit on our own. We have a big database of these pollsters, and we can just plug and play and throw them in a model and start looking for some directional bias and adjustments. But again, we're talking a 2-point error rate in the models and 2.7 in our poll. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's anywhere from 7.3 to 10 points Democrat victory on tomorrow night on election night. We got Paul Hyde. Why have Republicans fared so poorly in off year and special elections in recent years? Is Trump just that good at energizing the Democrats? Yes. I mean, it's kind of wrong, but the answer to your question is absolutely. But I don't know what it is. It's a schizophrenic behavior. It's like a boat, right? And you got everybody runs on the left side of the boat and it starts to tilt, and everybody runs on the right side of the boat and it starts to tilt, but we never can stay in the middle. So that's just the dynamics of politics. Post year, Trump wins. The base doesn't like to lose, and they're blasting Queen. We will rock you 24/7, and they're going to come back and win. They're more energized to do this. They'll turn out and they'll vote. The Republicans did. I mean, the Republicans had a good year in 2022 post Biden. So think of the off year elections then. New York, New Jersey.
Sullivan.
I mean, that was off the charts in terms of swinging an election. I mean,
New York was actually the reason why they had a good bit of the victory that they did.
Yeah. So Biden won New Jersey by 15 or 16 points in 2020, and then Chitterelli comes around in 2021, and he loses it by 3 points?
3 points.
Yeah. So it goes both ways. It's low propensity voters, and you're going to hear these taglines and these buzzwords, but you got to give people, guys, men, women, whatever, plural, people to come out and vote. And if you're not getting someone that they really want to vote for, then these low propensity voters aren't going to vote. Your habitual voters, guys and gals that vote 4 out of the last 4 general elections, and they vote in the primaries, and these 3 out of 4 voters, they're going to vote. They're your more civic minded folks.
Yes.
They're going to vote no matter what. But you get down in those 3s, 2s, and 1s, they may not turn out. Matter of fact, they may set out an entire election cycle, and you won't see them again until the next presidential cycle.
And then there's a theory about the Trump voter.
Yep.
Trump bringing up the actual fact that Trump motivates a particular part of the base and gets them moving. If Trump's not on the ballot,
that's a great point. Yeah, sorry.
Gabriel.
Gabriel, that's a great point. I think people have selective memory. He talked about the same way Obama was. Yeah, Obama lost over 1,000 seats.
Yep.
If you count congressional, Senate, and all your state legislators, his 8 years. In fact, one could make an argument that he completely decimated the Democrat Party.
Yep.
Because they've lost 2 out of 3 presidential elections since then.
Yep.
And he handed
Sent back.
Yeah, he handed off to Hillary. He gave her everything, the keys of the kingdom, and she got beat. That's a direct repudiation of Obama, which is why he's taking this so hard.
And if you remember too, back around that time, I don't remember the particular year. I think it was Obama's second term. There was a lot of complaints from Democrats about him not backing or standing side by side, like you see him doing now with the actual candidates at the time. Like they kind of distanced himself from the congressional and just kind of left them out there. That was the impression that you were getting. That may not have been the internals on it, but at least looking in from the outside, that was kind of the impression that people were getting.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
So to wrap up the Virginia thing, this isn't much of a contest. You know, I know people were fired up. And I don't think anybody really thought that the Republicans were going to win win these seats. Maybe they win the attorney general. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not. I mean, we got it tied at 47. We got Jones up like 0.6 or something, or 0.4 or 5. But it's you know,
points 1.2.
No, not.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1.9. Yeah,
0.5
to the 5. Sorry.
Yeah, we got Jones at 0.5, so I would be a bit surprised if it's a sweep in Virginia. But yeah, I mean, Virginia's tailor-made for that. It's government shutdown. Northern Virginia is on the tip in terms. I used to live in Northern Virginia. I used to live right there amongst them all. I did it for like 5 years in my previous career and previous life. So I know what the federal government is to that area.
Yeah, very
your bureaucracy lives there. I mean, they
go walk through Alexandria. You can't swing a cat without hitting a government worker.
Yeah. So those things are going to play a part in this, no doubt about it. The shutdown, and of course, Doge, and then the government cuts, the threats of moving the FBI headquarters, and there's just a bunch of stuff going on. I think it's a backlash, is what it is, and a repudiation when it comes to these Virginia voters. So, but yeah, that's Virginia. That's it in a nutshell. We got some more questions. Seeing Cheryl lead by 3.3 in RCP average based on 2021-2024 poll disparity versus reality. Should we expect a swing right? That's a great question. I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you what we found. In 2024, there was about depending on which aggregate you look at, there was about a 9 to 10 point polling miss in New Jersey in 2024. So we had Harris winning like 54 to 40 or 54 to 40. It was something stupid, right? And then she ended up winning the state by 5.9, 6 points. So could there be? I don't know. Being that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you that our. I'm sorry. I can tell you that our New Jersey poll. So I'll reveal this now. So. I don't think we got enough Republicans in the South, in the southern part of the state. We had it 46-46 in the South. It's probably not. It's probably more like 50-46. Probably more like 51-46. That would probably close that margin. We had a 3.3, and you said RCP had a 3.3. So our poll was actually 3.3. It was like 49.2 to 45.9. Had we collected more Republicans in the South, I bet we'd cut that margin in half, or at least knocked a point off of it, and it probably been closer to 2, 1.8, 1.9, something like that. Could you expect a polling error? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be egregious, though. I think that Cheryl's going to outperform her polling too by about a point, maybe some change. And I think that Ciccarelli will go up to, he'll probably outperform his polling. We had him at 46. I think he'll be up to about 48 and some change. Yeah. I just think that's all the electorate can bear, right? We run models on this stuff. We do more than just poll this stuff. We run tons of models on what the electorate can do. What is it capable of under certain conditions?
How much juice can you squeeze out?
Right. And it's just not an environment to where, unless something external happens, it just doesn't seem like a state that the Republicans could flip. They'll get up to that point and they'll stop short. The only way they could keep it into is if I'm not saying this, and this could very well happen Tuesday night. If Cheryl is just locked in the 49s,
yep,
and then Ciccarelli's in the 49s, and they're fighting over that 49.6, 49.8, or they're fighting to get to 50. Yeah, we're getting to that 50% mark.
Yep.
I think that's the only way that they'll win. But I think that we're probably looking at about somewhere between 1.5 Cheryl to 4.5 to 5 Cheryl. And I have to trust our polling. We polled it twice.
Yep. It opened.
We actually polled it 3 times, but the last 2 polls, we had it 2.3 Cheryl,
Yeah.
and then we had it 3.3 Cheryl. So I think we're going to probably be falling somewhere in that area.
And one of the things a lot of people forget about New Jersey, the Democrats have an incredible structural lead over over the Republicans. I mean, it's like a 1 million plus voting deficit towards the Republicans. I mean, but now the Republicans in Jersey actually have the capacity. I think they're probably one of the best parties at running guerrilla campaigns. They tend to, it seems like they pull a lot of independents in, a lot of unaffiliateds. They make up that gap. But the problem is like we said earlier, there's only so much you can squeeze. The Democrats have just such a large, decades long base in that. And now they're actually, I think they got spooked. So they got that GOTV going to get these folks out.
Yep.
And I think they're doing a pretty good job with it. You may not like to hear that, but this is just the reality of the situation. And it's not taken away from the GOP. They've done a damn good job with it too.
No, the Democrats, they're doing enough. I don't think they're not doing great, just based off the sheer numbers and mass.
Yeah.
So we wrote a research article in September about mass versus momentum, versus motion, and the Republicans have a higher efficiency score on turnout. So technically speaking, the entire electorate off of registration voters, Republicans only make up about 25 or 26% of registered voters, and the Democrats make up about 37 or 38%. Yeah. Yet somehow the Republicans have managed to keep races somewhat competitive, even in a presidential year. That's because Republicans turn out at a much higher rate, and some Democrats cross over. Probably 10 to 12% Democrats cross over. Yeah. They don't change their voter registration.
Jersey has an insane crossover.
They just vote Republican, and then, of course, your independents tend to be moving more to the right. We've seen that in the last 3 election cycles. So all of a sudden, you get from 25 or 26% Republicans to 34, 35% Republicans.
I'm sorry.
And then your Democrats, they go from anywhere from 37, 38 to maybe 42%, 43%. And then your independents split it, and it turns into a pretty almost parity, believe it or not, in terms of, it has to be close to parity to get a 6-point victory in 2024 and then a 3-point victory in 2021. The parties, once you move everything together, you get the crossovers and all that, you're no longer talking a plus 13 Republican advantage or Democrat advantage. You're talking more like 6, maybe 5. 10. I don't know. This one our last poll we had at 10. Hold on one second. I want to answer this gentleman's question. Seems like it should. So the 80-20, yeah. So you're asking about our models, why it came out to 93. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with 80-20. If you wanted, I mean, I wouldn't argue with an 80-20.
No, not at all.
So why do we have it at 93%? Well, the public polls that we use, first of all, Ciccarelli is not leading in any of them. And then when you add your variance and you account for directional bias in those polls, which admittedly they 8 of the polls or 7 of the polls, or I don't remember how many polls we use, I use 10 or 12, they all move to the Democrat directional bias. So they oversample Democrats, or they either underpoll Republicans by 2.8 points, something like that. But when you throw in some of the Republican polls, Trafalgar and Instar Advantage, maybe coefficient, I think we might have used, they have a slight Republican bias if you go back and look at the polls. And I'm not saying they have a bias because they're Republicans and we have a bias. No, I'm talking mathematically, statistically, they have a bias based on their past performance. And when you run all that together and you create a model that compensates for that and it moves the lines, yes, Ciccarelli actually does win by 1.5 points about 5% of the time. And then you have a lot of ties, but the majority of those polls fall from 0.5 Cheryl up to about 4 points Cheryl. So quickly summon it. All of the 100,000 Monte Carlo simulations based on everything I just said, she wins 93% of the time. But if you had a model and you showed me that he wins 20% of the time, I wouldn't argue with you. I wouldn't argue with you at all. It just depends on what you did. Now, if you had it 50-50, I'd be questioning that. Like, well, you got to show me, how'd you get 50-50 when just, because there's, again, if we're basing it off polls, which it's all we got, right? It's off your election. But yeah, so that's why the polls show, or that's why the model showed a 93% chance for Cheryl to win. And I think that's probably right. If you were playing Russian roulette and you had a 93% chance not to get shot in the head and have your brains over there on the wall, I don't know if you still want to take that bet. So I think there's a chance. Let me say this: it's not zero that Ciccarelli could pull off an upset.
It's never zero. And
it would take us polling error, like you guys mentioned earlier, and that polling error could very well exist. We may be off. We're going to be off a couple of points because we know we didn't poll Southern Jersey. We just could not get those. We just could not get enough of the Republicans to respond to our polls in Southern Jersey.
The rules are so hard. It's the toughest nut in polling across.
And you can't wait for that because they don't exist.
They do, but they don't.
They don't exist in your sample.
They do.
So that's what you call non-ignorable, non-response bias. You can't wait for that because you'd be creating data and you can't do that, not have any integrity. So you just have to wrap it up and say, hey, here it is. Here's my margin of error based on this. But I think we missed some Republican voters, but I still don't think it's enough to move the needle to a victory. I think I can see a 1.5% finish, or maybe even Atlas Intel had it like 0.8 Cheryl victory. I could see that happening if what I think is true, or we may nail it. I don't know.
Similarly, he's going to maximize the Republican potential in Jersey. There's no doubt about that. The question is, obviously, is it enough? And in our opinion, probably not.
Yeah. So, Boston Nationalists. So there's I need to share that model. That's a good point. All right. So I'm going to post this on Twitter. Message me, Boston Nationalists, after this. So there is a Polyvote has a model or an algorithm, a mathematical creation. And you can, so beyond a ballot question, you can say, hey, regardless of who you support, who do you think is going to win? Or you can ask the friends and family question and you'll get an answer. There is a mathematical formula where you can put that. So she's at 47%. So it's 47% times something added to the opponent, and you spell out the top line. Well, her top line, I did it today, matter of fact. I was just curious. That's just funny you brought that up. I did it today, and her top line comes out to be about, I think it was like 49.2 or 3, something like that. Well, lo and behold, once we forced leaners,
yep,
Cheryl's top line was 49.2 or 3, something like that. Now, does that say that Ciccarelli's going to win? I don't know. They could both be fighting over those decimals. Those decimals. 0.8 or 1.1 goes to other, and you literally have.
I think you've seen a lot of losses.
You have Cheryl winning by 16,000 votes versus 80,000 votes or something like that. I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's just funny you brought that up. I completely forgot about doing that this morning, that I did use that model and I plugged in the neighbors, friends, coworkers, just to see where it was. Now, I say that because if she's in the 49s in a two-person race, it's three people, but we're going to call it two people because I think those two people are going to fight over 99% of the elected. If she's in the 49s, then Chitterelli has to be in the 49s too. The only way it's going to work. It can't go any other different. It can't go any other way. If she's at 51, then Chitterelli's at 48. If she's at 50, then Chitterelli might be at 48, 49. But if they're both, but if Cheryl's in the 49s and that's her ceiling and that's her destiny, then Chitterelli has to be in the 49s with her.
Yep. She's dragging.
So we very well, I don't have the statistics on it, what I think that the possibility of that being, but they both very well could be in the 49s on Tuesday night. And we have a 0.4, something like that finish, and we're talking 12,000 votes between them. I don't know, but it's a possibility. Not saying it's going to happen, not my prediction, but it does work out that way. But aren't 5% of the outcomes in your Monte Carlo simulation? Yes, 5% of my outcomes are greater, similar, are we greater than what? That's why no. So 5%, because I use that variance and those polling errors and directional bias. I'm sorry if I'm monopolizing this.
No, go ahead. Go. Talk about that. It's important.
I got your question. Another way to frame that. You want to open that door? Yeah. So we're going to get some air in here. Another way to frame that is to there's a 5% chance that Cheryl will experience a 1.5% loss or greater. Or you can say it the other way and say that there's a 5% chance that Ciccarelli will win by 1.5% or more, something along those lines. It does exist. That's what's important about this model. Nate Silver, to his credit, talked about this in 2016 and other things when he was working at 538. The fact that 5% exists,
yep,
is a factor. Okay,
for reference, when people were jumping all over Silver for giving Trump a 30% chance for winning in 2016, he said, "Don't you understand? Trump has a 30% chance of winning." All right, that's the probability. People don't quite understand how to interpret probabilities.
Yep.
Please.
Well, I mean, that's I think some of you break it down into your favorite NBA basketball player knocking down a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
It's pretty good odds he's going to do that. He's going to miss several.
But he's going to make
or your baseball player, a good baseball player, is going to get a base hit that game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking the odds are pretty good at this point, especially when you're dealing with something that's simulated over 100,000 times. Somebody's going to do something 5% of the time. That's a factor you need to kind of keep in. It needs to be part of your risk management or whatever the case may be. If you work in the cyber world or the industry world,
management or something.
Yeah, it's still something you need to factor for. I hope I answered that question right. Last question, please. Are early voting results, when broken down by party affiliation, useful in making predictions? They are. But you need to. I mean,
No,
I think they're overplayed. But I'm not going to sit here and go. The Republican or the Democrats have a 4-point advantage in the early vote. Oh, don't worry about that. The Republicans are going to tear out. Hold on, they're not going to tear out and they're going to just swamp them on election day. No, I think it tells you the direction of the election itself. What's key is how many votes are left. So is 50% of the electorate going to vote on election day? Well, that means something.
It does.
On who's already voted, and
so many votes left.
There's so many votes left, and then what's the propensity on election day? And we found in New Jersey that for every 1 point margin, 0.45. So for every 1 point margin on election day, I think you're thinking about efficiency score.
I think so. Yeah.
So if it's R+1, it will move it will collapse the margin at is 0.45%, roughly speaking. Plus 2, well, multiply 0.45 by 2. Or 3 on election day, multiply 0.45 times 3. So now you had maybe a 4 to 5, 6 point margin going into election day, and if the Republicans win election day by 3 points, then you start smashing that margin down to 2.5 points. So that's just I would call it a rough rule. It's pretty mathematically sound. But yeah, the election day count matters, and I think early vote count matters. But the thing is, when you start seeing those things on Twitter about Democrat, Republican, Independent, is you got to account for crossover, right? So you know that
so many factors.
So our polling showed 12% of Democrats are going to vote for Republicans, and 10% of Republicans are going to vote for Democrats. And Chitterelli was winning the Independents by plus 10. So when you do that, which I have about a dozen times, it no longer turns into a plus 4.4 Democrat early vote. It turns into more like a 2.6 Democrat early vote. Go ahead, Mike.
No, so if anybody knows me from prior to 2024, one thing I despise is anybody trying to tell me that there's predictive power to special elections. I'm sorry, you're a moron. Fact of the matter is, there's no evidence whatsoever. You're a moron.
I wouldn't go that far, but go ahead.
I'm going to go that far. You're a moron. Now, for EV, you can kind of work out early in-person voting, and DPM does have some estimative power. Estimated and predictive power are two different things. Okay, and it's something you got to really keep in mind. You can use EV or IPEV as a variable within a model to predict. So you have, hey, I've got this column here. I'm going to predict the outcome. I'm going to have this list of variables that influence it, and do they correlate, so on and so forth. You can run your regression models, whatever you need to do. But in of itself, it has not that much predictive power. It has estimation power, and there's a big difference. Now, that being said, if you follow guys like John Kuvion and I think it's Michael Purser, they really, really, really do the yeoman's lift on putting out some really good information on the EVs, and they really give you context behind it. If you're like kind of a layman and you don't understand exactly what they're talking about, you can go in, look at the past tweets, and you got to put 2 and 2 together and figuring out what's going on. There's some accounts out there that, they're highly partisan, whatever. I mean, they got their thing, they do their stuff, it's cool. But be careful. Like I said, a good place to start is Michael Purser and John Kuvion. They do some really good work.
Yeah. John Cuvion's a pollster from
Louisiana,
but he's mainly a private pollster.
Yeah.
But he's a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, God.
I had him on here. I haven't done a podcast in so long. We're going to wait till 2026 to get that fired back up. I had him on here earlier at maybe February, March. I really don't recall. But he's a very good pollster, very successful pollster. He's very sharp, and he uses a lot of old school methods. It's simply just tabulation on spreadsheets, He's collecting votes by regions, demographics, all the important things. That way he knows what the electorate can do, what's it capable of doing, and then giving it some constraints, the constraints being their trend line, their observed behavior. What does it take to deviate from that observed behavior? So there's a lot of things you can do with numbers outside of polling. I would hate to think that we ever just put a vacuum cleaner, sucked in some data, some respondents, and just spit this stuff out. I mean, you can do that, but it takes a lot of homework before the fact. You need to know who you're polling, what you're trying to find, what is that electorate capable of? What did it do 2 cycles ago, given these situations? Yada, yada, yada. That's why we were so accurate in 2024. And we didn't really have much of, we just weren't surprised. We just knew, we knew it was going to swing 6 points to the right, because that's the way it should.
He picked it up in 2022. We executed it too early.
Yep.
It blew up in our faces, but it applied in 2024, and that was the bottom line. And it always popped.
Yeah.
6.2 was the number. So, in fact.
So Chaz is in the comments. So welcome, Chaz. I think, Chaz, I'm not mistaken. I think you live in
Vegas.
Vegas. That's
Vegas.
right. That's right. I remember something like that.
Vegas.
Chaz, he's an old school. He's been with us since
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah, no, that's been a long time.
When we bombed it. I mean,
Yep.
well, we didn't poll then. We had the Republicans win and they won the House. But we used a lot of fundamentals, approval ratings and fundamentals and economy and things of that nature. And history said it should have been an absolute wipeout. We've run in so many models. It's not like we were just spitting stuff out, making things up. Every model we ever ran, we ran it. We tried to back test it to previous midterm cycles, and it was just an absolute bloodbath for the Democrats.
2022 with the map change.
Yeah, the map change and vote by mail.
everything.
Vote by mail. I think that
it's in IPV and
yeah,
VBM.
it impacted our
Changed
models
everything, and we didn't
massively.
We didn't catch it.
We didn't catch it massively. So I think we were probably operating under the old map.
Yep.
And we just didn't know. We didn't know the new map was going to behave like that.
It was amazing. I mean, from a political science perspective, the way that the new map behaved, so like crazy. Like you could write.
Well, you had 100.
Oh my God!
You had 100
so
seats.
insane.
You had 100 seats in play last decade.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now when I say 100 seats, I am stretching it.
Yeah. 60 to 40.
Well,
60,
winnable.
Yeah.
But technically speaking, 100 seats
Oh,
could be in play.
what's old boy's name from the Cook Political Report? David Wasserman.
Yeah.
He put it best. He said that, and I remember this. I'll never forget this. In 2022, prior to, he put it down. He said that anywhere between 20 and 30 seats is the new wave election.
That's it.
I will never forget that.
So
lesson.
think about this. You had 100 seats in play. And if you run up a good score, 45%, 55%, 60%, you would win 60 seats of those 100 seats in play.
Yep.
And that was just not the case for 2022.
Not
and
at all.
I don't guess we didn't put enough respect on the new map's name.
We do now.
And we do now. So I think that's what cost us, and we really ate some.
We learned some good lessons.
We ate it on that one. So, but it is. I don't regret the models.
I'll just say this:
those damn models were good. They were awesome. It just didn't translate over to the new.
If it wasn't
map.
for 2022, we wouldn't be sitting right here where we are.
No, no, we didn't quit. We loaded up and
good lessons.
got back at it, and then we nailed the Virginia race. Not polling, but models. We posted that. It's an old tweet people love to share, and we nailed that election. So we
that was a good one.
We knew we was going to be doing pretty good on that one. And then we got into polling in 2024. So, but anyway, I don't know if we're going anywhere important with this so far. But I guess to wrap it up, if there's any. Brian Kelly sucks. Oh yeah, yeah, he does. Is Brian Kelly even around?
I don't think so.
Actually, I have a buddy named Brian Kelly, but it's not that buddy. And my buddy Brian Kelly does suck. So he's from Louisiana.
Hey, nothing wrong with nobody from Louisiana.
But but just to recap here, yeah, you can write Virginia off. I have,
for the most part,
I have little confidence that I'm not sure that Mayaris, I hope I'm saying his name, Mayaris.
Yeah, he's.
I'm not sure that he's going to go forward with this and win it. I mean, I don't know if he will or will not, but I can tell you that the governor's race and the lieutenant governor's race is gone. It's gone, girl. And then the attorney general race it's following behind drastically. Doesn't look like a whole lot of split voting.
Nope.
It just seems like we can pull the crosstabs up and check. It just seems like that we have more undecideds for that attorney general race. I can pull the crosstabs up and look at the party or the demographics for. But in New Jersey, though, we got a live one. We're going to wait and see what that shakes out to be. I think we're going to be pretty close to the finish. Who is this? Research Co. They got it 48, 46.
46, 30 minutes ago. Interesting.
With not sure and would not vote at 5%. Huh. So whoever asked that question about Cheryl being in the 48s and 49s, could there be a polling error? Yeah, it could definitely happen. It could definitely happen.
Yeah, good.
All right, let's take a couple more questions unless everybody's dropped. They may have gotten bored by this point. I appreciate the interaction here. We want to jump on this for a good reason.
Thank y'all.
If we don't get any more questions, though, we're going to wrap it up. Probably should have done some screen shares so we could share Twitter, but I couldn't get that done.
Well, we went. I mean, this is live.
Yeah, we're gonna go live tomorrow during the election coverage.
And we will be drinking. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're gonna.
I'm not really a
scumbag. Yeah, great stuff. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Lifelong Jersey. It should be interesting. Hey, who's the lifelong Ian Davis? Sorry, I don't know if you want me to say your name out loud. What does it look like? Well, first of all, do you live in the north, central, or south? And what does it look like in your region if you're still on? We're going to give him a minute to type it. I want to know what region of the state you're from.
Turnpike is south, right?
Turnpike that's the new word. Turnpike.
No, but it comes. I think the Turnpike's south. If I remember
I
right.
don't know.
It's been on my geography on Jersey.
And then they had the meme off the Sopranos. Tony Soprano's house had a Chitterelli sign in the.
Yeah. We know
what percentage does Jack need to win tomorrow to pull it off? 50%.
Yep.
50%. I don't think he wins with anything less than 50%. What? I mean, 49.8. I don't know, but I don't think he wins with 49.1%. I don't think he wins with 49.4%. I think Jack's got to get 50% to win. I'm not being smart like when I say 50%. I mean,
no, but the race is that close.
If it's that close,
theoretically,
yeah, he's going to need 50% of the vote to win.
We're talking threads here,
and then we're talking 8,000, 12,000.
Yeah, about that.
12,000 votes probably.
If it comes down to that kind of a decision, you're. I'm telling you, man, it is so close at that point. You're splitting decimals, and like I was joking with Jason a little while ago. I mean, you're in lawsuit territory. That's how close.
Morris County, I think independent voters could be 55%. We'll be very close. We don't have the raw data. Morris County.
Morris County
on our raw data.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
We may not have the raw data from Morris County. But I am familiar with it because I did look at it.
I remember Morris County.
Give us a sec. We'll tell you how your county voted. Is it Ian? Oh, 55% to Jack. Okay. Let us confirm, sir.
If I can pull it up.
If we can pull it up.
Because the song goes top.
Do you guys like these live, unfiltered, unscripted, straight from Qantas headquarters?
It's dangerous.
I should turn my camera so you can see my office in here.
Let's see, where was it?
My dog.
Sorry.
Yeah. Ian gave us up.
Bear with me. So,
by the way, if there's any veterans in there, salute you back.
Yeah, definitely. Can't tell by the stupid haircut I've got.
All right, let's go. I got two dogs. I got two.
They're just being really quiet right now.
I got too many.
Boy, they're cute.
Too many. Not too many. I got too many dachshunds. Not too many dachshunds. I got too many dachshunds. Oh, you want to see Doggy? Come here, Winston. Come here. I got the. This is the male. Oh, this is the male. I'll get the girl. Isabella, come here, Isabella. See, this is my Winston.
Isabella, come here, babe.
And then, and then this is the girl.
My girl.
Mike doesn't live with me, by the way. This is not me. Me and Mike are not.
No, I'm
connected. He's here visiting. He's my coworker. He's here visiting. You like? Oh, we got now. There's more people popping into the comments because it's all the dogs.
Of course.
You don't like our nerdy. I start showing dogs and everybody pops in. Hold on, that's my balls popping in here.
Dogs, they bring out the best in people.
Sorry. Or not. All right. Yeah. Where we at? Yeah. So, I mean, guys, that's about it. We're going to be back on. We're going to try to pull up Morris here for our friend. We're going to pull up. You don't have it by county in that app. Do you?
Yeah,
Oh, you do.
that is coming.
Okay, Morris. Okay, Morris.
Only 89.
We only had 89 in that sample.
What? 50.3 to Cheryl.
Yeah, 50.3 to Cheryl to 44.5 to Jack.
That is with a let me see real quick. Hang on.
Does that sound right? Is that your experience in Morris? Did they vote like that in 2024 or 2021? But it's a very small sample. I mean,
very small.
We pulled all this up from the exit results. I just don't remember what we did.
This is weighted though.
Yeah, it is weighted.
Yeah, there's no significance.
Sorry guys, we need a little refill here.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so there you go.
Ooh,
What?
Bellwether County.
Who?
Just for your interest, Bergen.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to share that. So
Why not?
because I don't know if that's right. So a lot has been said about Bergen County being a bellwether county. Matter of fact, Boston Nationalists turned me on to that. We had a small sample of N120 or 121, and we got Jack winning Bergen County by several points. So we're not going to share the exact number, but
oh my God,
if he's winning that county and he wins the South, Morris County is trending blue from 2021. No, I don't know. I can't remember. We had all this stuff documented when we were putting this poll together. I won't say, but it's very So Boston Nationalists. Yeah. So if he's winning Bergen County and we undersampled Republicans in the South, which I'm quite positive we did. I know we did.
Big polling miss.
Then the poll's probably closer than what we have it at 3.3.
Yeah.
But that's not to say we didn't sample. We might have undersampled Democrats in some areas, and it may just balance out.
But this can't work.
No,
we get on Bergen. I was like,
maybe we got right for all the wrong reasons. Crosstabs are like that. Samples are like that. You just hope that you're weighting and you're balancing your adjustments. Kind of just, you're not going to ever get a good sample. Okay, polling it's an art. I know it's a lot of science and not really science. I'd make it sound like we're smart. It is a lot of foundational methods and science, but it's also a lot of art because you do have to make some calls, but you hopefully make those calls. You just don't pull them out of thin air. You go back and look at previous elections.
If there's anything that the brains from 2024 taught us, always know your uncertainty and always check your priors. And if you can't tell if I'm being sarcastic, I am. Because, anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Compared to 43%, it's a messy process. Be careful. So Ian Davis has said that Morris County is a good bellwether as well. 50% to Cheryl, Seaside. Cool. Okay.
That's cool.
Appreciate that, Ian.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know.
It's funny, too, because it's Morris and Bergen showing up right next to
So here's the thing about our sample. We had it 44D, 34R, 22 independent / unaffiliated, or I should say unaffiliated / independent. Because your independents make about 1% of the entire electorate, maybe slightly less than 1%. Your unaffiliateds are the largest.
Huge.
So we may have too many Democrats, or we may not have enough Republicans. Maybe it's 44-36, maybe it's 42-36. We don't know. I mean, it's a crapshoot. You're trying to do the best you possibly can to put out the best quality poll. And I'm going to get on my soapbox real quick on that point. because we get a lot of slack about Republican pollsters and partisan pollsters and biased pollsters and all this nonsense, like we're just creating numbers and throwing out garbage. There's absolutely no benefit for us to do that. All right, it makes no business sense. It's you want to be able to put out good numbers and be accurate, just like we were in 2024. You want to repeat that process in 2025. We want to deliver on that in 2026, and we want to hammer 2028. So we're trying to give you the best quality data that we possibly can, and there's a lot of work that goes into these polls. It's not something we just do and spit out. We plan this stuff in advance, and there's a lot of work that goes on to it. What scotch is that? That is it's not that good. It's not that good.
Oh, you show.
It's Colorado. It's actually I'm gonna get sued.
I like it.
Actually,
I like it. It's a little.
It's wonderful. Okay.
I like
so
it.
It's Stranahan's, and it's made in Colorado, Blue Peak, and it is Colorado single malt.
It's an acquired.
Whiskey.
It's an acquired taste. It tastes like a bourbon.
It does. And typically, when I buy single malt, I'll buy Scotch. I will buy an actual foreign product. I don't know why I bought that, but I did.
Well, Scotland.
It's a little sweeter than Scotch.
Yeah.
But on one of these calls, I make my own whiskey. I send it to my own distillery, and I make a wheat-based whiskey. So it's sweet. I call it Briarwood. It's like my pub. I got a pub in my back. I made a pub in my backyard, and I make my own. Well, I don't make it, but I create the recipe. It's a little rye, a little barley, and it's mainly wheat, and it's a sweet, not like sweet like gross sweet. It's just a sweeter whiskey, and it is really good, and I love the recipe. But I drink it all, and I don't have any to show you. But anyway, so yeah, this is the that's that.
It was a good eye.
It's not bad.
It was a really good
vibe polling. Yes, Chaz, this is what it's called. That's what I'm trying to say. D+4 in 2021 to D+10 in 2025 just seems hard to do.
No.
Wait a minute. That's what I'm trying to say. D+4 in 2020. Oh yeah. No, he's right.
Wait, what?
I think it's about New Jersey. It just swinging that much. I don't know. What I'm curious about, though, again, this isn't a presidential election, so you really can't. It's apples and oranges.
Trump's at 47, 45 to 47.
Yeah, he's
not doing bad.
It's that delta though.
Yeah.
This breaking down all of a sudden. It seems to be it's breaking down.
You have to ask yourself.
Virginia and New Jersey.
Yeah.
They voted almost lockstep in 2024. Now you got one state that's going to fly off the hinges.
And one is. Looks like it's going to be pretty close.
Yeah, one's going to be a nail biter, and then one's going to go plus 8 or 10 points to the left. And this one's going to go even further to the right than it did in 2024.
And
so
one thing you got to think about too, you have to ask yourself. I mean, why is Trump staying out?
Biden in 2020 and Trump in 2024. Ian, go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep talking.
Why? One of the things, Trump has stayed out of Jersey. You have to question what's going on there. What do they know?
So we got Ian and Boston Nationalists stacking on top of each other. So Ian, that's actually a great point, man. So he says in 2008 went to Obama. Everything went to Obama. Indiana went to Obama.
Yeah.
And then Trump so swing elections. It went back to Biden in 2024.
Yeah.
It went to Trump in 2024. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. This is a small sample size in Morris, but if Morris does shift back to the left, or at least split the difference, then we're not too.
Let me put this in perspective for you.
But who's winning Morris?
But I gotta go back.
We said Jack was winning Morris. Okay.
No.
Yeah, we did.
Was it Jack?
Yeah, go back.
Winning Morris? I thought Jack was winning Bergen, but he was losing Morris.
Oh, is that what we said?
Yeah. Hunterton.
Anyway, it could, it very well could do that. But we're talking small sample sizes in these counties.
Let me put this in perspective for you. Morris probably has over 100,000 people minimum living in it. We got a sample size of 89. that gives you a confidence interval, which is the
12
plus or minus 12 points either way.
Yeah.
So really, really consider that. And if the confidence interval was larger than that, I would not be absolutely surprised. But just keep that in mind about, don't read too much into it, is all I'm saying.
The puppies. So we got ignore the
It's
excitators, by the way.
puppies.
Y'all doing it. Thank you so much,
There we go.
El Maddie or
Yeah, Morris goes to Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Yeah.
So
Cheryl.
let's just say that those percentages
Cheryl.
are slightly off. If
Right.
the,
But Bergen has a large.
yeah, I don't know. That's why I don't want to get down into these counties
That's
because
granular, man.
because when you get granular, the problems show up. I know that almost sounds counterintuitive of polling.
Or COPPA. I mean, it's
But
not
you-
a cop out.
You hope to take the aggregate. You take these granularities and you balance, you weight, you do and you almost become right for the wrong reasons in all polling. I mean, Atlas Intel put out a tweet last night about his crosstabs. He goes, "We don't touch our crosstabs." So he had 60% black voters going for
Yeah, it was crazy.
Chitterelli, and he got in a lot of smoke for that. He got in a lot of trouble for that on the election, the left. I call them electioneers. They went after him and attacked him over that because yada yada yada. He's not wrong in what he's doing as long as his
Top line.
overall sample is balanced correctly.
Yep.
I wouldn't do it that way, but I think I have an idea how he does it. What he's doing is he's just not practiced. He stops short of making it precise. He gets the balance correct,
Yep.
and he gets his top lines. I can do that with our polls. We can do that. We can stop short of that, and miraculously you still come out on top. But you may have something just ridiculous. But adjusting goes into that. You go back and look at your benchmarks. You go back and look at your hierarchical Bayesian regression, all these fancy things we love to do. And we can find out what our electorate's supposed to do, and you can adjust, and you can actually create another layer of weighting to that, and flatten your sample out the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
You don't have to do that. I just don't have the confidence. I don't have the confidence to do something like I want to make sure that my crosstab makes sense even on a sub-demographic level, because when you're dealing with smaller sample sizes of your sub-demographics, your Black voters, Hispanic voters, Asian voters. I mean, yeah, you're dealing with pretty large. You're dealing with large error rates when you're dealing with 80 people in a 1,200 sample. So yeah,
and they represent thousands.
Yeah, they represent thousands. Or they represent 4% of your entire electorate, and you can go off the rails doing that.
Yep.
But you want to cap your weights at a certain level. You don't want anything to exceed that, and then you bring it all together. So,
and if I can circle back to special elections and why they have no predictive power whatsoever, this is part of the reason. You're dealing with a different electorate. You're dealing with a different style.
That's right, Chaz.
What did you say?
Go ahead. I'm just.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I hate special elections for that reason. Not that we shouldn't have them. I'm just don't think they have any predictive power.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I think there's some predictive power. That's why I said earlier, don't go that far. But I don't. I don't think it's zero. But
it's fucking zero.
I think there's when you start doing deltas and
they have some,
and then
yeah,
if you have volume of winning,
right.
I think there is.
Yeah, I mean it's like attrition warfare though at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm taking the Vladimir Putin approach to warfare in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I'm going to overrun him eventually.
Yeah. So,
but I tell you, this is so funny to me. Morris and Bergen, right there.
Yeah. Well, we have Jack doing well, and he's losing the Central, but he's doing pretty well in the Central.
He's doing
well. No, he's tied in the South. He should be winning the South. That's what I was saying.
I really agree with you. I think we.
No, I know we did. We missed him. We missed him. Polling is fucking hard. People think it's exactly,
Yeah.
Maddie. It's a process. It's no different than.
And don't even get into the fact how many times do you second guess yourself?
All the time. It's stressful.
Sometimes there's so many times when you second guess yourself because you're remembering something you read a week earlier, or something from a model, or something from some research you've done that crosses over and directly conflicts every damn time with what you have on paper or in your database that's in front of you right now. So you have to really try to make the best informed decisions. It really is. I've done a lot of different things in my life that required statistical analysis and data analytics. And I will tell you right now, polling is the hardest damn thing I've ever been involved with.
But it's extremely simple.
Oh, it's fun.
It's extremely simple in terms of the outline of it. Like you
Yeah.
have some objectives and some boxes to fill.
Yep.
Easy.
But how to get to it?
But how to get to it, a little hard.
It's a whole nother.
It's like making bricks. You think about making a brick, it's got to be in a square or rectangle. But there's probably a rectangle. But there's actually a dimension to a industry standard brick, and I'm assuming that takes a little bit of engineering specifics to make a perfect brick.
Yeah.
And then you got to make tens of thousands and millions of them. So yeah, even making a brick, which you take for granted.
Have you ever tried to lay a brick to the line?
Yeah. So anyway,
it's not that easy. Polling's the same damn way, though. You know,
it is satisfying. I'm addicted to it. I'll never do anything else in life. This is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life. Is polling.
I'll drink to that.
And the electorate is shifting plus add COVID, fuck, effing up all voting. Yep. Yeah. I wonder if we're coming back from that though. Maddie. I think it's Maddie. My eyes. We got the camera far away. I think it is. I think COVID's probably permanently.
Oh God, yes.
But I think we may be coming back a little bit, swinging back to the normal.
Can I
Jump in?
Okay, so COVID. We had so if you go back to 2012, you start seeing changes, very, very small, in the way that people were reacting to particular the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, the way it was being prosecuted, labor things at home, NAFTA, all the stuff. And I mean, that can all be traced back to the 90s. Jump ahead 4 years, you got Donald Trump entering the scene, and Donald Trump did not bring these things. They were already in there, in the cauldron bubbling. He sped them up. 2020, COVID hits. People are at home. They start watching what their kids are doing on, seeing the classes being run like this. They understood what they were learning. People had time. They started researching. They started, whether they were coming up with conspiracy theories or not, I don't know. All I know is something fundamentally changed, and that influenced our politics. There was a socioeconomic shift. Our labor markets changed. Our politics changed. Our whole viewpoint on the things that were pre-COVID were gone. Now, 2020 was a huge change in the way that we did things. 2024 was the balance. We're swinging back. Now we're starting to settle back down. What you're seeing is a return to certain fundamentals, not all of them, but certain fundamentals. And I think that we're going to strike a balance between what was and what is.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to.
So you're good. You're good.
So Christian Hines,
Oh,
JoJo DeMarc, I think he
Christian,
said,
you got good models.
well, he's not on there.
Oh,
JoJo
okay.
DeMarco. If I didn't say your last name correctly, it's because I can't see that far. He says it's 8.47.
Oh, baby. There you go.
And his models.
Yeah, he's out of Virginia.
Yeah, he was dead on. Well, I think he was off by a point in 2024.
Yeah, something like that. He's really
so
good modeler.
So we had it. Our model this morning. He was actually driving up. He was driving from New Orleans up to my house, and I launched these models this morning. We had 8.3, and then we didn't release that poll to make it fit our model. It just
happened.
We expected a plus 10 poll 11. We was like, shit, everybody else is seeing it. We'll see what we got. Well, I'll tell you, in the raw data, we did plus 11.4 in the raw data.
Yeah. Oh,
but Maddie is correct. But something like a plus 12. It's something like that. But once we got the dimensions correct, gender, age, race, region, it brought it back down to orbit, and we had it at what do we have it at?
Let me just say this.
Hold on. I'm asking what we had it at. What we have it at. Mike. 52.6 to 43.9.
Yeah.
Which was 50 point. That's what I was asking. Can you do the math? Real
Oh,
quick?
yeah.
Anyway, we had it at 8 point, whatever it was, at 6. So
Oh, no, that was 8.6.
that falls right on top of his model, which falls on kind of on top of our model. I bet if we were to rerun our model post our poll, we'd probably be very close to Christian. But anyway, I think Christian was off by like 1 point in Virginia in 2024.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing because
Very
he likes to create those models with the propensity voters, which it's not a cheat code, but it is very smart to do it that way.
Very smart.
He bypasses all that statistical stuff, and
he's a good modeler.
He knocks it out of the park.
He's a really good modeler.
But anyway, our polls are falling right on top of that, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Chris also said that he gave Spanberger all the benefits of the doubt, so he expects it.
Fair enough.
He
should.
So he expects any surprises to benefit. Yeah,
should.
That's smart because it is going her way. That's exactly what you should do. I mean, undecided, she should probably get 65% of those. I mean, why not? She's winning 54% of the damn vote, so give it to her.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing. I mean, this one's about an art. Go back to similar elections, right? Post
Youngkin.
Yeah, or whatever the post-presidential election is.
Pre-Youngkin. Sorry.
The post-presidential election, and see what happens after that election year. See what happens in New Jersey, Virginia, and then track your demographic changes since then. So 77% white, 78% white in Virginia 10 years ago. That's no longer the case. It's more like
69,
70, maybe in the off-year election 73.
Yeah, it could be.
So it's no longer that. So Chris also said that he gave. Okay, yep. And then momentum matters. Absolutely, momentum matters a lot, especially in the last 2 weeks of the election, which we should kick ourselves for polling October 19th and 20th in Virginia the first time.
Yep.
Which was within 2 weeks of the Tex scandal break. We should have done that. We should not have. Looking back, we should not have done that. We should have let it. We should have went by the science, and the science says 3 weeks to a month of a news cycle.
Yep.
If it's to a certain degree of a news cycle, like
if you have that allotted time.
Yeah. If you're driving home, if a politician's driving home from a bar drunk and he hits a bunch of Girl Scouts, that news cycle is going to probably last a little while, maybe a year, 10 years, 20 years.
But find a kilo of coke in.
Yeah,
the old rules. Well,
but
apply anymore.
So the magnitude of a news cycle.
Yeah.
We jumped into that race too soon, and we didn't allow people to process the news cycle. We got non-response bias is what we got. That's what we saw it. We saw the undecideds. It was refused to answer our question. They literally checked out of our poll. You can't trust a poll like that. So what we try to do is just find those who answered all of the questions, and we threw out the people who answered some of the questions. We'd never been in that situation like that before.
It was different.
We should have never pulled it at that time frame. We should have waited. I don't anticipate us ever polling another race the day before the election, but I'm glad we did. Because I feel like
it gave us a good opportunity to kind of, and it's a snap poll, so you got to keep that in mind as well. You know, these are 3 questions. You're not forcing leaners.
Nope.
There's no kind of like congressional ballot attached to it.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's a snap poll. Yeah.
Yep. Well, what time is it? Yeah. Well, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. But hey, we're not just gonna end it abruptly. We like doing this, and some of you who've been around and followed us for a while, Chaz, you're one of them.
Yeah, oh, big time.
You guys were following us when we were just a Twitter account.
Yep.
And now we turned this into a full-fledged business with revenue and people, employees. We're working. We have.
It's crazy.
It really changed, and I just want to say thank you to you guys that do that. I hope you appreciate the Twitter account. We've we try to do a good. The funny part about the VA, you guys are messing up my speech. No, I'm just every poster is going to be right. It just matters how much. That's exactly right. Yeah, Gabriel, that's exactly right. We're all going to be directionally right and probably magnitudinally.
2020, YouGov was off the reds, but magnitudinally. Oh, okay. Let me say this.
Is that a real word?
No, absolutely not.
We're making words up.
They got the direction of the race right. So think of it like this: they got direction right, but what they got wrong was the magnitude. They had Biden plus 12, whatever it was, but they did identify that Biden was going to win. They just got the
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen in Virginia. You can let it in.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in Virginia. We're all going to be directionally right, but you got some polls showing plus 11. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I think we're going to be eight and some change to 9. I think we're going to be probably pretty close.
Yeah, I think so.
I know that poll in Virginia was quick, but we already have scripts set up. We already polled Virginia. We already know
We have some
what our benchmarks are. We already have the ranking script. It's sitting on our desktop. We just run it, and it's quicker.
I have an app.
Well, we're building something cool, which we're going to show later. We got so little sneak peek about what we're going to start releasing. You're not going to see crosstabs in a PowerPoint slide anymore. You're going to get a link. You guys are going to get a link to our polling, and it's going to be interactive.
Yeah,
you're going to follow the link, and it's going to be a web page, and you're going to see all of our polling. You're going to see the weighted data, and the unweighted data, and we're still talking about the raw data. We got to figure out if there's any legalities with that.
Yeah,
because it's voter file data. We got to. I don't know. We're going to work on. We're probably not going to do that, but we're going to show you the.
We'll get as granular as we
can without breaking any. Yeah, without breaking any laws.
Yeah.
But we're gonna. I think we're gonna be the first to do this.
I think so.
So we're not gonna make you create a login. You're just gonna go in, click a link, just like you would click a link on what I typically have, where you go to a drive and you read this crosstabs. You're gonna go to a link. It's gonna send you to a web page, and you're gonna scroll. And you're gonna
all info.
And you're gonna see info. And you're gonna see comments. You're gonna see some of the machine learning algorithms that we spit out about. What this race looks like. What's the probabilities? We're going to be running things in the background.
Yep.
Monte Carlo simulations based on our polling, saying, "Hey, we think that Tom Dick has got 88% chance of beating John Harry." So there's some things we're going to be playing with, and that's all going to come out in 2026. This is why I brought my buddy Mike back. He's my first round draft pick. We hired Mike in September. Mike was my Twitter partner when this was just a hobby, and then we turned it into a business. So I called Mike up, say, "Hey man, quit your job. Let's go back to work. Let's get the band back together. Let's rock." And so we've done some cool things since then. So more to come with that. All right, we don't want to share too much because we want to come back tomorrow night and be live. We're going to probably be live for hours tomorrow evening, covering covering the elections. We're going to try to, that's right. We're going to try to make this a little more open. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with this. We got tomorrow to figure it out. But all right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Mike, Jason, Qantas Insights, we love it. It's when I used to deal with my annoying DMs for years. We love it. There was no.
Jason didn't get to finish this. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, we love it.
Seriously, thank you.
We love it.
I mean it.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll be back on Twitter tomorrow morning. Nothing ever stops. We don't sleep. We don't eat. Unfortunately, we gotta go eat after this. But we're gonna go knock it out. All right, guys. Good night. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Be good.